Hello, my name is Grayson Wallace. I will be debating about kneeling at the national anthem and how I am for it. I would like to begin the debate with what our First Amendment says. I feel like that's a good place to start off. First Amendment states that Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or the press, or the right of the people peacefully to assemble, and to petition of government for redress of grievance. Okay? So it just says it, plain and simple, black and white. Freedom of speech. The Congress shall make no law about freedom of speech. We have the right to give our opinion. That is what freedom is supposed to entail. I believe all of this started off with Colin Kaepernick a couple years ago. Colin Kaepernick is a football player, was a football player, but got fired because he knelt during the national anthem to stand up for something that he believed in, okay? He was doing all this to show the world that something's wrong, something needs to happen. A quote or something that Colin Kaepernick said, he stated that, I'm not going to stand up to show pride in a flag for a country that oppresses black people and people of color. To me, this is bigger than football, and it would be selfish on my part to look the other way. There are bodies in the streets and people getting paid leave and getting away with murder. Many other athletes have since then refused to do the same thing as Colin Kaepernick has done. They have refused to stand for the national anthem. They have began to kneel. They began to stay inside of their locker rooms. The beginning of the football season this year, a couple games in, other teams, other players started to kneel as well. Well, our President Trump, stated that if any NFL player doesn't rise for the national anthem, they should be fired immediately instead of suspension and using the term son of a bitch to refer to the football player specifically. Number one, what president does that? Sorry, this is not a presidential debate. My fault. But that following Sunday after Donald Trump said that on TV, most NFL teams had a message to President Trump. And more than 200 people, players, staff, coaches, they knelt. They raised their fists. They interlocked arms. They sat down or even stayed in the locker room during the national anthems because they were not happy at how President Trump spoke to them, how his comments in general were just not professional and very, very rude. There's a whole reason why the NFL players are protesting this peacefully. Let me repeat that. Peacefully. They're not going out destroying property, hurting people. They're kneeling. They are kneeling, trying to get a message out there, trying to show people that something is wrong in the world. But they are protesting peacefully. I can't say that enough. Peacefully, because they want to end racial injustice, police brutality, and the inequality that is still happening in our country today. Nobody can deny it. It is happening, and it needs to stop. People don't really care about that, though. They just see the main picture, which is the players are not respecting the flag, or the players are not respecting those who fight for us. It's not about disrespect towards our Marines in the Army, in the Navy, etc. Okay? No athlete should be fired to exercise their constitutional right, because that would be illegal to do. No athlete should be fired. That's illegal. There's going to be three statements that I want to make in this debate, and one is when one believes the United States is not living up to its ideals of freedom, liberty, and justice for all, refusing to stand the national anthem is appropriate and justified. Okay? They are just trying to make the world better. They're not trying to cause harm. They're not doing any of that. The second statement I want to make is when a national figure, such as an NFL player, refuses to stand for the national anthem, it shocks people into paying attention and generate conversation. Okay? I think that stars, famous athletes, famous persons, they have the biggest voice. They do. I think they need to use their voice more often, because those of us that can't go out on TV and tell millions of people how we feel, how we think, those people wouldn't hear. They wouldn't see what other people are thinking as well. Maybe that person's thinking the same as what I'm thinking, and I believe in that. It helps people. It helps all the famous people that have came out gay or has helped others come out. It's just they have so much say in a lot of people's lives. The third statement I have is not standing for the national anthem is a legal form of peaceful protest, which is in a First Amendment right. I stated this in the beginning of the debate. But I also like to say, when Colin Kaepernick first did this, I believe President Obama was in office. And President Obama stated that Colin Kaepernick was exercising his constitutional right to make a statement. I think that there's a long history of sports figures doing so as well, stated by Obama. So Obama knew. He knew that this is a First Amendment right. We just can't go out and say that this is illegal. There are millions of players who would kill for the opportunity of what they're having right now, okay? Like being famous sports athlete, and Kaepernick said he's very grateful for that. But he says, I realize that the opportunity also comes with the chance to express myself. He knows that he can get his word out. He knows he can get what he's feeling out to the public and get people on his side, because other people are feeling the same way. People make statements that the NFL players are more careless than the rest of us. The rest of the military sacrifices. And if anything, they really kind of have closer ties to the 1% of Americans who serve, like you or I, okay? Meaning, in 2012, a survey was found that more than 100 players and coaches have direct relationship to the armed forces. Okay, Cardinals wide receiver Larry Fitzgerald, his aunt and uncle are both in the Army. The Bears coach John Fox's father was a Navy SEAL. Cowboys defensive end David Irving, father is a Marine, Master Sergeant. Okay, so these people are not doing this. These athletes are not doing this to disrespect those in the Army. It's just that's not the case. So I would just like to end this debate informing you guys that this is not illegal. This is not to cause hate in the world. This is to bring justice to those who have been hurt, to those who have been betrayed or killed, or because of the government, the police brutality. It needs to stop, and I think this is a good place where it's starting.